Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Okay, let's just dive straight into it, because today we are investigating a seriously surprising market mover. It's totally caught the attention of financial analysts and market experts alike. We're looking at a stock that honestly usually flies completely under the radar when we're talking about aggressive sudden momentum. But recently, well, it's completely changed its tune and taken the entire market by surprise. We are, of course, talking about ITC. In this explainer, we're going to break down a really fascinating analysis from experts who are tracking this major unexpected breakout in ITC stock. We'll look at exactly what's driving the shift, the business fundamentals backing it up, and where the experts see this whole thing heading next. So if you want to grasp the real mechanics behind this move without all the extra fluff, you are in the exact right place.
Part 1. The sudden ITC breakout. Market momentum.
So what's really interesting here is this specific price level, 415. The stock has been hovering right around this mark lately, but honestly, it isn't just the absolute number that matters. What experts are so eagerly pointing out right now is exactly how this movement is happening. I mean, after a really long period of basically flying solo or just staying completely stagnant, this stock is suddenly stepping perfectly in sync with broader market strength. Analysts specifically noted that it's actually matching the rhythm of the market, moving up right alongside other major players instead of lagging behind. And that alignment, that is a absolutely crucial signal. It tells us this might not just be some isolated, temporary blip, but a highly meaningful and sustained breakout. This quote really captures the sheer surprise among market veterans. One expert analysis literally said, "Today, after many days, after many months, such a movement has been seen." The experts themselves are highlighting just how incredibly rare this behavior is for ITC. Typically, this is not a stock you see just rapidly climbing to the top of the charts on a daily basis, right? In fact, they pointed out that seeing ITC feature prominently on the FNO, the Futures and Options, Gainers list, is an exceptionally rare event. It's known as a slow, steady giant. So when that giant suddenly wakes up and sprints onto the top Gainers list, you better believe seasoned market watchers take notice. Which brings us to the ultimate question for this explainer. Why is this stock suddenly moving? Like, what has actually changed beneath the surface here? Because a sudden price jump is one thing, sure, but to know if it's sustainable, we really have to look under the hood. So let's pivot from the initial shock of this price action and uncover the fundamental reasons actually driving this breakout. Section 2. Key growth catalysts. Strong fundamentals. The really crucial point here is that this breakout isn't just happening in a vacuum. It is backed by some seriously solid fundamentals. The experts laid out 4 very specific positive drivers that are acting as massive tailwinds right now. First up, there's a huge building FMCG consumption theme taking place. Basically, consumption stocks are just starting to perform really well across the board. Second, they noted there's been no major GST pain. There were all these historical fears about tax hurdles or GST complications getting in the way, but honestly, those haven't materialized into anything disruptive. Third, their strong non-cigarette businesses are performing exceptionally well, which proves they're effectively diversifying. And finally, the demerged hotel business, it's performing brilliantly. ITC Hotels is out there making strong, positive moves on its own. So literally, every single one of these cylinders is firing at the exact same time. Let's just zoom in on that broader market environment for a second, because the experts pointed out that FMCG stocks are slowly coming into action, and this is vital context for us. ITC isn't just, pulling itself up by its own bootstraps here, it's being lifted by a rising macroeconomic tide. There's this renewed strength and momentum in consumption-related themes across the whole market. As those broader consumption stocks slowly wake up and gain traction, ITC, being an absolute behemoth in the space, naturally benefits. This overarching sector strength gives the stock a super reliable foundation for its upward move. Section 3. Technical range and outlook. What's really fascinating is looking at where the stock was trapped before this sudden burst of energy. For a very long time, it was quite sluggish. The experts explicitly noted it went through this prolonged period of consolidation, basically getting boxed into a tight trading band between the 400 and 450 range. For months, it just kind of bounced around these levels, going nowhere fast, really testing the patience of investors. But it was resting, right? It was absorbing market changes and consolidating its position. And understanding that long, quiet period is exactly what makes today's breakout so significant. It built a massive base within that 400 to 450 range, and the energy from all that consolidation is finally being unleashed. And that brings us to the bottom line analysis. Despite all that waiting around in the 400 to 450 range, the experts are crystal clear. They said, I remain bullish on the stock and advise staying in for the medium to long term because the stock spent so many months heavily consolidating its base. And because all those fundamental catalysts, the hotel demerger, the non-cigarette business growth, are actively in play now, the expectation is that we'll see some excellent upside in the coming days. The long wait is finally paying off, and the definitive advice here is to hold on for the medium to long haul to really capture that expected growth.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one really provocative question to think about. How will ongoing FMCG consumption trends continue to impact this newly awakened stock? I mean, if this broader consumption boom the experts identified is literally just getting started, what does that mean for a giant that's finally broken out of a months-long consolidation? It is going to be a fascinating dynamic to watch unfold, for sure. Keep a close eye on how those non-cigarette businesses and broader market themes continue to evolve. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and as always, keep learning.